Oh yeah. What's going on, mi gente? Let's get it crack-a-lackin'. Welcome back. Cork stats fastest freaking show in MLB. Absolutely anywhere. Oh, with your boy. With your fucking boy. Big Johnny Stuck. Coming worldwide. Brooklyn, New York as always. Coming out the damn chair as always. Follow me up on Twitter at John the Gator Flow. Sharpening the damn razor. Same handle over on Substack, where all your dreams come true. $2 a week. Get your 5 pounds of shit in a 2-pound box, man. Find out what all the hubbub is about. They're showing off some of the tools. The model is up every damn day before the Charismack of dawn. Data, stats, 7 days a week. This wonderful show and my beautiful fucking mug, 6 days a week. Big men are known to rest on the 7th day. All right. If you want all the lessons and what we're doing and all that shit, I spent the last 2 days doing that so we could just fucking throttle and like wham bam. Thank you, man. These shows are going a little bit long. I have no reach on Twitter. It's kind of a fucking waste. You can also follow me on Insta at John_Legaza for some AI slop content. Maybe I slip in a couple nudes. You know what I'm saying? Let's fucking go. Nudes. All right. Enough of that shit. More of this. Doing the thing we do. What better way to start off your day? The best part of waking up. Oh, it's the pitching sheets. Oh, my God. You let them wash over you. There's something about neat, right? Neat work. Thorough, neat, consistent work. That's what we're all about. Going to save you $2 worth of time every single week. Again, walking through the tools. Yankees are the standalone afternoon game. We're going to bypass that. We'll come back at the end. I want to keep my commuter crowd in mind. I forgot I did not do that yesterday, though it was mostly afternoon. So generally, we're doing the show 6 days a week, starting with the late slate and then backing it back to the future or whatever. Figure if you're listening to this stuff early, you're making it to the end. The people that listen later, so they don't have to fast forward. You know me, man of the people. Look at me. Me. Okay, everything is set up early. We're going to be getting a little quicker every day with the scheduling. Remember, there's a bit of like overlap. Right now, I had to build out the 2026 sheet. You can't bother with splits. It's just macro stuff. Some of the teams haven't played yet, so we're going to have 25 and 26. We'll blend, and then we'll move to 26. Like, don't worry. You know, I got you. You're in good hands. First up, you know, I promised myself I'd try and do these steady game breakdowns. Going to the big nose version. Camera 1, camera 2. First up, it's the Athletics from somewhere in California. I can't keep up anymore. Luis Severino on the bump, plus 155. Dog on the road. North of the border to face Kevin Gausman and the Bluebirds, minus 165 on the Blue Jays side. Take a look at the videotape. Severino last year, 454, 130 ERA, whip combo, expected to buying it. Claude liking the skills a little bit more. Again, right, walks and ground balls. But the swing and miss stuff is gone, really non-existent. Also like to point out we got to give Severino a little bit of grace this year, pitching in that joke ballpark, right? The home and the road stuff were completely split. I think it was a 6 ERA at home and a 3 ERA on the road. The answer is probably somewhere in the middle. I think Severino is a decent innings eater, but I think all the flash we once hoped for is gone. The view is still there, but again, he's falling behind, not getting called strikes, right? You see the disciplinary bin. Again, go to the tutorial on the podcast feed, on the YouTube that nobody watches, and check that shit out. But he is going to keep it down, right? He's very hard to take out of the yard. The lefty splits are a little bit tough. The Blue Jays, have added a couple lefties now. So I think just right off the bat, you're probably like Varsho, you're probably like Barger to do a little bit of damage. Remember, I also have, after our splits, we have the prop column. So maybe that's unfamiliar. Ks per game, walks per game, outs per game, and pitches per game started. Always really important, though I would take that last column with a small grain of salt. The first start, you know, I'm probably reducing workloads by 8 to 10%, let's say, as far as pitch count goes. So Severino not great, maybe not as bad as some of the overlying stuff might suggest. Gausman very very good. He tends to go as the BABIP goes, right? Because for a guy we think about like a high skill kind of strikeout guy, it's more command control. He gets chases, but it is contact, and then it's in the hand of the gods. He benefited from a single digit home and a fly ball, but I think Toronto definitely has the pitching edge here. Right, we got to like Toronto. They haven't played yet, so we could just look at the offense. Right, you pop over to the team sheet. I have macro, overall, lefty, then righty. When you're looking at overall, you can go just to righties, right? You don't want skewed lefty stuff in there. Left column, also leftmost column is the game order. So, every day I update that teams versus lefties in red. Again, this entire thing is just kind of built for speed, for casuals, keep it cheap, give you a leg up in the information war. So you're not setting up your war room every day. It's so ridiculous. You know what I mean? Support good people doing good work. So you can see here on the board, both teams aggressive, contact, disciplinary profile much better for Toronto. Though neither team great with the power stuff, and to me that's a little bit surprising. I thought of the Athletics as maybe having a little bit more power. They do lose in the zone, and they hit too many ground balls. So maybe you got to give Gausman a slight edge here. Let's take a quick look at the algo real quick. Up every day, run the algo with both American odds and prediction market, percentage calculations with edge calcs plus totals and differences and stuff. And the whole thing is formatted with base props. You could see on the right. I mean, it's like a little, like fucking everything plus the implied team totals. Oh, by the way, now I can't call it like a hit, but it's certainly encouraging, right? I put out the implied team total list every day. We often talk about playing the top three. That was a hit. That was a hit yesterday. Milwaukee was the third. They dropped the 14 runs, got to the finish line. I have found, Jason, if you're listening, hit me up. I keep fucking forgetting. I'm so busy. Let's try and work out something with just these high scoring stuff that I'll make sure I have somebody sharp like you in the market. We're kind of showing off what we're up to. So, I'm going to be looking at today. If you're curious, let's bring up today's board just for curiosity's sake. I've got Houston at the top, though, frankly, I'm very worried about the way that offense looks. Can't overreact to one day, and they face Yusei Kikuchi. I say he might be washed. Then it's Toronto versus Severino, Dodgers versus Nelson. Daily special's not out yet. Sometimes the numbers are a little bit choppy when there are fewer games. Sometimes they're not even up with fewer games. But just to give an idea of something else would be tracking, just all of the stuffs and the things that you get when you kind of roll with us. So just back to the algo before we move on. I've got strength for Toronto, an F5 win, a full game win. But man, I always have a hard time stomaching that cost because you can see I have this closer to like, minus 125, plus 125. Though frankly, there's like a 2 or 3% favorite bias in MLB. And you gotta pay the tax if you want the better teams. A little bit rough. I don't like to pay for the run line without a full run of disparity on the model when we're at home, right? When you're at home. I was on the Source Network with Kyle and Sam last night. You check out Kyle's stuff. He's fucking super sharp. I love those guys. Great community. If you're a night owl, the show's been on at midnight, with or without me. It's on every day at midnight. And, they're in front of a lot of lines. They're kind of laying a lot of the foundation. And yeah, really great guys doing great work also. We were talking about covers for favorites at home and how you really can only project 24 outs, right? And not 27 outs for the home team because, incoming message. Realistically, once you're expecting the 25th, 6th, and 7th outs, you're tacitly admitting you don't think you're going to be ahead, right? So Those two things are actually in contradiction. So you must, right? If you believe you're winning the game, then you need to project 24 outs unless you're expecting a multi-run walk off in the ninth inning, which again is kind of insane when it would be over with one run anyway. So I like Toronto. They're probably part of a favorite parlay, which is really kind of whack. And the totals, I'm right on the money. Maybe you get me to the under, which is another one, right? When you're leaning to the under, this is when those three fewer projected outs can bring you to a conclusion right away instead of pushing you away from the run line. It should actually make the under more attractive if you're modeled there. So that's probably where I am. Toronto with the win and maybe the under 8.5. I'm going to try and build a parlay as we go. So I'm going to just go Toronto full game. I think they get the win. I've been very worried about the A's bullpen. I think the Blue Jays bullpen is very good. And I want that to play out because I think we have both the pitching and the hitting edge. I'm not necessarily looking for the exit. All right, who's next? Looks like the Rockies are on the road, Little Rocky Road. Kyle Freeland on the bump, plus 170 dog, heading down to sunny Florida to face the Miami Marlins and my boy Sandy Alcantara on the bump. He's a heavy minus 185 fave. Let's go to the videotape. Both of these guys really struggled. However, right, but, that big kind of shaking ass. Hold up, wait a minute. Alcantara with the return from TJ, we want to give him the grace, especially when you could see all the indicators are like a full run better than the ERA. If you're new and you're looking up at the screen, I provide, right, Sierra and expected ERA. Those are not mine. I think they're the best. I also thought they were flawed. I was working on my own. This is all in the tutorial. I go into depth, but just briefly. I thought I could improve it. I'm not going to say I did because the jury's out. It could go south, but to this point, it appears that I have. Then I started to challenge Claude, who took a different route than I did. Then I challenged it to compete with me by using a completely different methodology. Like it's completely different. And they started testing out similarly, though both better than the standard ones. So that's something else that you get with the Substack when you sign up once these sheets and everything go fully behind the paywall when I'm done, shaking my hoo-has trying to get people to fucking sign up. So that's why you see Claude. Claude is a AI skills-based earn run indicator that tested out very highly. You can ignore it if you want. My MLB MA one is my own one. That, again, I did all the work in the offseason, tested out better than all of them, and I assure you it's not an average, though, aggregators do work. Okay. So the thing with Alcantara, again, what I wanted to mention, what we're looking for in these returns is command and control. That was not bad, right? Pop over to the disciplinary stuff. Well, first you see the velo was over 97, which you like. He maintained stuff plus, which is great. The Ks were a little bit low because he wasn't getting ahead, right? He wasn't getting called stuff over. The swing and strike rate dropped. Sometimes that's also kind of an effect. But the ball and walk rates were in place. He fell victim to contact and a lot of bad luck, right? 62% left on base, 13 homer fly ball. So for a guy like Sandy to give up 22 homers on just 33% fly ball is a little out of whack. I think a lot of those kind of correct this year. I don't think you should be using those numbers for Sandy Alcantara. I think he's kind of a different pitcher, forward looking than, let's say burying nose in the spreadsheets. I want to just take a quick half a second. We're not going to do this for everybody, but there's not 15 games either. I was curious how his secondaries played last year because I thought I remember they were a little bit weak. Okay, they were a little bit weak. He was relying on the changeup, which performed pretty well, but his top whiff pitch was only 28. The year before that, the changeup was over 30. The cutter was near 35. Last year, those numbers were kind of lopped, not necessarily in half, but definitely by a chunk. So Sandy, we want to see if he maintains the command and control. We want to see if he can induce whiffs on the four seamer, and then maybe a few more whiffs on the changeup. But those two things should intuitively work off each other. It's why I use Stuff Plus on the four seamer only, not as much on the breaking stuff, because I believe they're more of a function of changing speed and eye level, right? Disparity, and then you get into shape and all the other fucking shit. So we're just dropping fucking bombs like crazy, doing the thing we do, me and you, the Corkstats crew. Yeah, Sandy Alcantara, I think, not to make excuses for him, I think he's a lot better than the stats would say. Freeland, a little bit different. Like, he was bad. I think he is bad. Again, just sitting 91. The command and control is good. He's in the zone, but he can't induce any whiffs. So it's all strikes, it's all contact, and it's, he gets well struck. You see 47 hard hit, enough hard hit balls. Some are going to leave the yard. I think he's in a lot of trouble today. For whatever reason, I want to skip ahead to the algo. The algo not as hot on this game as the market. And I think, again, we're seeing, right, the favorite bias that comes into these games. I don't want to automatically erase it. I'd much rather provide fully transparent math and have us expand off that than me, like, not say arbitrary, but just, pulling fucking wires under the hood when I'm not satisfied. But, all of these numbers are all created and work the same. And now look at the edge difference across down the board. We're within 2-3% across the board. And remember, these are not static markets. These are dynamic markets. So you're right on the fucking mark. So for me, if I model and everything is in line with the book, except for a few, I'm not going to start changing my model to match everything in the book. I'm going to see that, as the value spot, I'm having trouble getting to the Rockies. So my thinking was more, maybe we want to get with the over. Okay. The Miami bullpen is not good. As bad as Colorado is, I think the offense is better than we give them credit for. So that's where I want to go in this one. It's still 7.5. I was over it last night, but here we go. You're going to have a good lesson right here. Let me see if I can fucking do this one for him. Insta slop. Oh, wrong button. I wanted to take a quick second to help people understand exactly when to execute over-under trades in an MLB market. Remember, the book has to give you good information. It's their job. So the first thing you want to do is check the total across multiple books. If the number is the same in 80% of them, lower in 20% of them, there's a hint of directionality that you may be looking towards it under. That's the easy way to pick up on it. The other way to pick up on it, that's more difficult, and comes from trading background, akin to reading the tape. This is when all the totals are the same. So you open Vegas Insider or Bamp or any of these. No one pays me, though maybe they should. When you get a uniformed 7.5, let's say, across the board, what we want to be doing is looking for price. Standard price, as most people know, is minus 110. Before number changes, price will change first. It has a ceiling, so it is a quantifiable indicator. Meaning, if we're at 7.5, you see half minus 110s and half minus 105s. That's where it's starting to lean if they were all minus 110 to start. Remember, right? In this example, we began with uniform. So you're looking for breaks from uniformity as leading indicators, market directionality. I promise you, I don't always sound that smart, but was deserving of a bomb drop. Once that number gets to either plus 100 or minus 125, right? Because all this stuff depends on direction. So if over 7.5 is minus 125, meaning it's very expensive to go over the 7.5. There's your indicator that it's going to 8. And you really want to be on the right side of the number move one of the few times it's actually beneficial to pay juice. So good luck with that out there, by the way. Okay, now that I did the little professorial thing, those are good tips, for people. Again, in derivatives trading markets, we're watching for volume stacks on the ticker to see where money is building to make the move. We don't have a physical tape because there isn't one standard market like trading. So we have to do a little more monitoring, but that's a good way to do it. So hopefully everybody got something from that and didn't barf having to look at my face too long. So yeah, I think I'm over this 7.5. I do think Miami gets it done, but I think Colorado can hang a few. I'm still chasing the Rocky Road thing. Now, granted, they haven't left home, which is one of the things, the change of altitude that messes people up. I used to contend the offense, the players were just bad. So maybe a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. All right, let's move on to the next one. Funny because another game with a 7.5 total. Could you find a bigger fucking pitching disparity? Reagan's Chris Sale, or a game with Kyle Freeland, the Rockies and the Marlins bullpen, and it just, it makes no sense. I guess the offenses are different, but I don't know. I don't think the Marlins are awful, and I think the Rockies are better than people think they are. So you have to be seen. Hopefully that one gets to 8. Next up, the Royals with cheese. Cole Reagan's on the hill. Plus 127 dog down in the dirty to face the Bravos. And old man Chris Sale minus 138 for my boy. Cole Reagan's is a perfect example how instantly, right, these sheets would just scream positive regression. Most people listening to the show have a triple-digit IQ and know not to put too much stock in ERA. But the indicators are through the roof. However, the Claude bot, right? This is interesting. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. Now, I don't want to skip too far ahead, but even if you look at Sale or Kikuchi, the next two players in line, the Claude indicator is in line with everything. And with Kikuchi, it's in line with everything. One high, one low, right? So there's no obvious bias or being completely out of whack. So I have one eyebrow up. The Claude bot, not as in love with Cole Reagan's as I am, right? My indicator loves him also. Granted, I'm higher than both, but Claude bot higher than everybody. Let's dive on in. Reagan's again was excellent. Forget the ERA. He had a 64 left on base, 354 BABIP, 12.5 homer fly ball, right? Those are your 3 legs on the Lux tool. All the indicators are great. Discipline was great. For the strikeouts and the whiffs he induces, his command is fantastic, sub 35% ball rate. He's really, really damn good. Cole Reagan's is really, really damn good. Let's see if we can reverse engineer it a little bit, because yes, I got the formula. When I worked really, really hard on this, and I spent a lot of time, as you could tell, right, with all the templating, I spent a lot of time setting the table, right, putting in tons and tons of uniform data at different time splits across different years, and then let it just start cross-correlating. And it gives you full reports. It doesn't hide anything from you. But there's a lot going on back there. Let's just see if we can pick up on any reason why the bot might not love Reagan's, because we don't need to do much on Sale. Everything, he's just red across the board. Chris Sale is so freaking good. Remember, it was a rib injury last year on that arm. Wheels up for Chris Sale. Okay. Where is Reagan's even not great? Because it's not the command. Remember, ball rate over walk rate. 7.8 walk is not even bad. 34.7 ball rate is fantastic. That generally will lead you to a better walk rate. So it's not that. There's a first strike issue. And immediately now, I like first strike, right? We talk about first strike in accordance with chase rate to create the bully metric when they add over 100. But it's not something I weigh, right? Just being honest. Though it would make sense because count is everything, right? So advantageous counts are bullish for pitchers, disadvantageous, if that's a word, counts are bad. I know for a fact it's not left on base and it's not BABIP because we went over this. Me and Claudio. I gotta call him Claudio. I gotta give him an Italian string. All right, so the elevation basket is not great, right? Riggins is up in the zone all the time. He gets barreled. That's it would just got to be it. Maybe a lack of efficiency that we've seen from Reagan's and struggling with distance and injuries. So I don't know. I don't think Cole Reagan's is a 3.75 pitcher. I don't. I'm closer to where mine is. To me, he's like a 2.9, 3.0, 3.1 kind of guy. I think of him as a top ish tier kind of guy. All right, Sale also really freaking great. He does everything. So let's pop over to the sheets here. Oh, sorry, I had something mislabeled. Um, so use the scan in the scroll, right? Royals and Braves both red. So you scroll to the lefty stuff. I know prop people love that you could just scroll right over to, K's and walks because those props are really popular. Outs also, which is why I have swing rate and pitches per plate appearance. I think those pitch efficiency metrics are also like whatever they're worth the cost of admission. I know it's my work, but I think there's like 12 or 13 different things that are worth paying for. The reason I say that is because I've had people say, if you provide this, I'll sign up. And I'm like, all right, there we go. I mean, that's why this is so damn good. Because people like you say, man, if we only had this, I could do this. It would save me time. So I provide it, All right, let's take a look at this lefty stuff. Royals were very bad against lefties last year. Bottom 3 in homers, bottom 3 in slug, bottom 5 OPS, bottom 5 ISO. They didn't take walks, they didn't chase, didn't hit the ball hard. Bottom 5 ex Wobacon, also one of those things that's just impossible to find and scrape and sort. Like, good luck with that. I'm a bullish on Kansas City forward, but now I'm getting a little bit, not say worried, but like I didn't realize it kind of put a little perspective for me. I didn't realize just how bad, sometimes we think, like, oh, it's facing a lefty. And the hitters that I like on KC, are righty, right? Garcia and Witt and Sally P. Although, Caglione and Pascantino, Caggins, especially versus lefties, could be a tough go. It'll be interesting to see for my fantasy people out there if he plays. I know, superstar prospect. I get that shit, but he's really struggled versus lefties. Royals went out of their way to bring in righty platoon guys, like part time, like legit. It just smells like a platoon, right? When you bring in Lane Thomas and Starling Marte, I'm like, wow, you're going to sit your lefty outfielder. So I'll be interested in that today. Right now, I'm a little bit bearish on Royals offense. Braves offense actually hit lefties pretty well, considering I moved back to the macro. They weren't great. This team was entirely too talented to be bad for too long. I'm really bullish on the Braves this season. Will it extend to today? I'm not sure. Let's check out the algorithm. Okay, Algo says, yeah, we've got Atlanta for a win by a smidge with that favorite bias intact. We're washed with the book. Maybe I like the under again here where model is leaning under and we have a favorite that we like at home. I wonder what the F5 is. By the way, speaking of which, now while they don't pay me, we both will get something at least. If you hit me up, it's in all the emails. There's a my bookie referral link. We both get like free roll cash or whatever. Their prices are better than DraftKings, and they also started offering alt F5 totals. Those can be frustrating when they move and you didn't want it to. Where, again, like in the example I mentioned before, you'd actually be okay paying 15 cents for a run, which is something I'm fine doing. But if the book doesn't offer it, you're asked out. They've changed that now. So that was a pretty cool upgrade from them. Again, hit me up if you're going to sign up. But the pricing is awesome. They also have good pricing on ladder stuff. They have better pricing. And if you know why you want to be playing at my bookie rather than DraftKings, if you know, he who shall not be named. So let me see if I could find this freaking thing. A lot of websites now, the problem with that, see, it was 4, it actually dropped to 3.5. Okay, when it went to 3.5, I was hoping they were going to offer under 4.5. They didn't. They're only offering under 4. It's minus 150. Now, I know if you've been following the stream lately, DraftKings was crashing my freaking computer, which made no sense. They're back. It's up and running. Whatever they were doing just didn't work for whatever I'm going on with. Let me see if I could find it. They buried all their F5 stuff too, which is just the freaking worst, man. These companies making it more difficult for us to work quickly is an absolute pain. They used to be like a first 5 tab. Now you have to click on the game, go to another tab that says first X innings, and then you have to start scrolling all the way down. It's such a freaking pain in the ass. I hate it. Finally found it. The under 4.5 is minus 180. And I'm like, ugh. So, no, I'm probably just going to go under the full total. I like to avoid bullpens when I can, which is why I took you on, fucking Mr. Toad's wild ride. I didn't mean to, but you got to shop, you got to shop around, shop around. So give me under 7.5, even if you got to pay a little bit of fucking juice. I think this one is a 4-3 max, right? Shale could go out and shove. Reagan's go out and shove. You could even twist my arm if you found the F5 U4. That's what I hit last night with Kyle. Those numbers move because, hey, listen, when you're sharp, don't blame me. Okay, who's next, yo? Looks like Yusei Kikuchi and the Halos plus 144 dog on the road down in Houston. Lone Star State to face Mikey Burrows and the Stros. Man, that offense, they stunk. I haven't brought up any 2026 offense yet, but the Astros are batting 100 as a team through 36 plate appearances. They have a 20 WRC plus, 62% ground ball rate, 42% chase. Listen, again, this is why we don't want to quote this kind of stuff, but just to give you an idea, it really is as bad as it looks. Now, they have some righties that might pick on a lefty. The model likes Houston to score. I don't want to overreact to one game, but I'm legit nervous. But Kikuchi may be washed. The 3.99 ERA probably outkicked the 142 WHIP. All the indicators are all really high. Claude is up near 5. 13% KBB, excuse me. 10% swing strike, 26 CSW. None of these are any good. Plus, he's in the zone with a bad fastball that's been degrading every year. Too many home runs. I don't know what happened. Why you can go to Houston and have a great year. I mean, a team that is good with development. You'd think that you kept whatever they were doing with you and whatever. You go to LA, I feel like they're just like, oh, who cares? Whatever. Training and whatever. Biomechanical hoo-ha. We're not into that stuff. You know what I mean? Go punch this slab of beef, in the back before we serve it. Who knows? Because Kikuchi, again, yes, he had an anomalistic year, but you have an anomalistic year with the team that's known to get the most out of the least. It just, whatever is worth looking at. So while Kikuchi's an angel, he's very frustrating. Burrows, I think, is actually pretty good. I think we might be dealing with a minor breakout here. Again, Houston doing what they do with pitchers. Burrow started to show us some love with Pittsburgh. And I think when Houston brings in a pitcher, it's because they have a reason to do so. Offense, I don't know. What are we going to get? Do we believe the Angels' offense? They were looking pretty good. They still strike out a ton, right? 33% K, 55 ground ball. Trout is looking healthy, which is a tremendous boost for any team. I don't know if I'm quite there. Check. You can see Houston versus lefties. I've got that highlighted. They hit lefties very well. I'm going to back over Angels versus righty, see how fast the whole thing happened. So that's really was at the crux of this one. I built this war room as a professional bettor. It wasn't because I like fancy charts. It was because I needed a way to fill in the gaps in the stream of consciousness. And hopefully that's what I'm offering to everybody here is like, that the speed, right? We got the need for speed. And there's really no replacement for time. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of always what it is. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find my Twitter handle so I could freaking retweet this thing because for whatever reason, Twitter is like built off it's built off like this immediacy. So you get like a few minutes to impact people and get interaction or it dies and you can, whatever. It's so annoying. I used to tweet stuff that I was confident all my followers would see. Now I have DMs from people saying I have to look for your stuff. And even sometimes then I have a hard time finding it. So Angels really struggled. They strike out too much, and I don't know if I want to buy the blip. Maybe that's the theme of today. I think Burrows again is maybe a better pitcher than the casuals realize. Last year wasn't great, but the approach stuff is all good, and he's good at keeping it down and in the yard. I think that's a huge bonus for LA. Does he take the step forward? It's going to be interesting to see. He had a really nice spring. But, that and $3 get you on the damn bus over here. Algo's got Houston for the win. This one very much feels like, what was the game before? Would we like the 160? Oh, Toronto. But I was leaning to the under. This one, I think I like the over. The model definitely likes the over. I'm just worried because it's right on the edge. I like to target overs when I'm at 3/4 of a run, and here we're at 0.8. And even though it's calculated for the favorite win, that's what's got me worried is maybe the Houston bullpen. But I guess without Hader, Abreu is definitely a beast. But after that, maybe they're not as terrifying. Maybe they need to sack up and go after it. It's King and it's Munoz and Okert. I'm definitely not terrified of that. So I'm going to go, even though I like Houston, I'm going to go over in this one. I think I'm going over. We got a nice little full game parlay going. Let's keep it moving as we get into our next one. Valdez and the Rays leaving Detroit Rock City, heading down to the perfect weather in San Diego to face El Rey. Michael King and the Friar Tucks, they're minus 113 at home. Take a look at Framber, stalwart with the Astros for so many years. Here is my worry. I've been hat tipping my guy, Justin Mason, who brought it up for me. And not say I wouldn't have stumbled on it. Who knows? I would have. But I always like to credit people. I do enough of my own, right? I originate enough shit. I don't need anyone else's. Justin does really great work and brought up a fantastic point that Detroit's infield defense is significantly worse than the Houston defense that's been behind Valdez for the past, some odd years. And that makes a huge difference for a ground baller like Valdez. So let's dive into Valdez real quick. 366, 124 ERA whip combo. All the indicators are digging it. The disciplinary approach is good, but not great. Right? 11.5 swing and strike, 15 KBB, 33 chase, 89 zone contact. It's okay. It's not great. Where Framber really excels and elevates the game is with the elevation basket. You could see, nearly 60% ground ball rate, even though they're hit hard, they're not barrels, and he doesn't give up home runs. So when you back it up, Valdez had a 297 BABIP last year. Also, he had the 366 ERA. That was the highest BABIP he'd had since 2020, and that was a shortened season. And it was only once before that in his entire career. So my worry is Valdez with so many balls in play with poor defense. Once or twice in this game, you're going to get the hiccup and you're going to be pissed. Ask Pirates bettors yesterday what bad defense does. So much as I like Valdez, I'm a little bit worried why, again, we want to build out that matrix because San Diego is like a contact and discipline team. Now we could bring it over to lefties and you can see more of the same, right? Padres, one of the best zone contact teams last year. They don't strike out. They don't swing and miss. They do put the ball on the ground, but it is a ton of contact. So they're, in one essence, playing right into Framber's game, but you got to scoop up the fucking trash or you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So I'm a little bit worried about Framber today. Other side, Michael King, definitely a good pitcher. However, if the stuff is going to degrade for a guy like him, I think he needs swing and miss because he doesn't have great command control. He doesn't induce a lot of chases. So he's going to have to generate whiffs, or I think he's in trouble because he's up in the zone with a fastball that's proving to be kind of beatable. That makes me a little worried about Michael King. What did we learn about the Tigers last year? I wanted to talk about the Tigers just really quick. When it comes to Detroit this year, they have some legit lefty bats in this line. And the Detroit Tigers are facing fastball heavy righties. You gotta put the antenna up. We saw a little bit of it. I think we're going to continue to see it. And in particular, if we're getting steps forward from some of the younger guys, namely Kerry Carpenter, right? They just brought up Kevin McGonigal, 4 hits in his debut. They're going to be a menace, absolute menace against righties. So keep an eye out for the Tigres, whenever they're facing righties in Detroit Rock City. So if you can tell where I'm going with this one, to me, it's an over. I think the total is entirely too low. Algo agrees. Now, one person out there, I'm sure at least saying, well, like, it's your algorithm. Shouldn't it agree? No, because I'm doing a human analysis right now, which, though predicated on stats, I'm victim bias and there's missing stuff here where the algo is doing all types of, weighted stuff and stretch formulas that, like, I can't do in my head. Think of it like a machine, right? If you build a car, you don't necessarily drive it. I'm in control if the thing works or not. But if you just because I built it, I don't make it go left. So I'm over. I've got Detroit with the win. I guess they're a slight dog today. So, I got value there. I like the 7.5 because it's at even money. I feel like this might have been 7 last night, actually. Damn, I'm not 100% sure. I would have to dig through freaking DMs and shit to find it. Yeah, I got it at 7 too. Detroit, San Diego at 7. Now it's 7.5. But I'll tell you what, if the 7.5 is minus 103, you might be able to find an 07. Hold on, I got bet stamp up. Hold on 1 second. Because shopping matters, and especially with the half run, holy hell, does that freaking matter? No, it moved across the board. So hat tip to myself, Kyle, and Toast. If you were following my work in the off season, that was one of the things I was talking about, being excited about trying to capture CLV in prediction markets. Now, while I'm still working on that, it goes by fees. Entry point affects the fee and liquidity. I'm not quite where I'm like, okay, we're here. Trust me, I'm working on it, tracking all of this shit. I want to make sure it's viable before I give the advice. We have a really good habit of being in front of markets, especially totals. Which, you know what's funny? I don't think I bought that one last night. It was so freaking late. Damn it. I bought Colorado, Miami at 50. It's at 52, right? So I'm just not like, oh my God, you crushed it. You're going to kill it. But it might hit a point where I want to cash out early, just to give you an idea of what we're trying to do here. Different ways to win. Remember, 1,000 ways to skin a cat without scratching its asshole. Okay. Very important fucking message. Damn it. I wish I had taken Detroit, San Diego, not just because it's like a objectively good bet to have been a part of. I'm very curious to see how that movement happens. That was like one of the. I'm dying to see it, and I haven't seen it yet. And I freaking missed it. I missed the move. So we're going to get one eventually. If anyone does capture it, I'd love to know, like, if you got '07 plus 100, and universally books have moved to 7.5 minus 110. What is your 7 worth now? What is that? What is it worth? Remember, back in the day, it was just worth a chubby, when your basketball shorts. You can't do anything with it. But now in prediction markets, you could literally clear it. I bought White Sox shares yesterday that I thought would increase in value, one, on the model, but then also Jackson Churio was listed out, didn't move the number at all. I missed by 1 or 2%. It was a very small amount. I think it might have just been the fees. And I cashed out. I didn't play that one. I took a Washington position. That one stayed neutral, but I really liked it and I let it run in a hit. Or I think that one might have been up 1%. Again, neutral. I don't want to. You can't claim percents. It's part of the slippage until we have a definitive formula. So, yeah, give me over on this one. Keep following the work. Please like and retweet this fucking show because I would hate to lose it. Right? Got to take care of the things that we love, or we risk them not being there. Next up, 2 games left, and we'll get you the fudge out of here. Gavin Williams and the Guards, 156 underdogs on the road against the Pickle, George Kirby and the Mariners, minus 165. I'll do this one quick. I was talking about this with Kyle. This is a case of nature correcting, right? Look at Williams. This is a perfect example how to use the sheets as well. 3.06 ERA, but expected ERA at 4.35, Claude at 4.35, me at 4.11. Why? Look at the massive walk rate, bad stuff plus in the four-seamer. He doesn't get ahead. He is a little bit wild. He was very lucky, right? 84% left on base, 254 BABIP. Even with the high homer fly ball, he was pretty lucky. Kirby is the other way. The 4.21 ERA is too high for a 119 whip and a 3.39 expected ERA, 5.5 walk, 34 chase, 44 ground ball. Other side for him, he had a 3.15 BABIP. That's Kirby, and he had a 13% homer fly ball. So it was a little bit brutal for him to give up 15 homers in just 125 innings. I think Kirby bounces back in a big way this season. One more guy. I want to take a look at the secondaries for 1 second. So Kirby last year, right, he's a four-seamer first. I like that he kind of understands it's not the best pitch, despite having good velo. That pulling back on it a little, he gets enough whiffs on it. I think guys that throw 96 will go higher than the 29, 30%. Now, he's got really good whiff stuff on the secondaries. I remember looking at this now in the offseason and being excited again because the slider, the knuckle curve, and the splitty in like a down year all had plus 30% whiff rates. Don't be surprised if Kirby is back to being like an ace. Right? He was a fantasy ace. He's has SP1 type stuff here. I fully believe in the Mariners pitching R&D. Like I'm 100% down with them. Let's see, Cleveland, Seattle. These guys have played. This is oh my bad. These should all say 26, and they don't. I'll fix that in a second. Let's see. Seattle offense hasn't gotten started yet. They've hit home runs, and that's it. Cleveland, being freaking Cleveland, contact and line drive turning into good things, which should turn into good things, but they are chasing and striking out and not walking. They're generally not the type of team you want to see that from. They're usually not like a power team. Okay, I not necessarily buying what I'm seeing from Cleveland, though, right? But that big ass, you know what I'm saying? Chase the Water could be breaking out. Highly touted prospect. They were talking him up. He won the job, comes out and thrashed yesterday. So, not that Cleveland was one bat away from being elite, but nobody can do it with one bat. And that's how I felt about them. All of a sudden, if the Water is a legit stick in the middle of the order, bumps everybody down the roll, down the ladder, and could be a good thing. Algorithm says, okay, I got Seattle pretty nicely. Now, this is on the border again with the cover because we're near a run of difference. We're also pretty high to the over. Is this one still okay? This one is still 7. I don't know. I need a game plan when bets are minus 160 or minus 165. I don't have a good plan. I hate paying that. Maybe just pay it. Like, if it's, do you think it's worth it? And yes. So for some people, it's that simple. Like, yes, mathematically, I think it's worth it. What's the problem? Like, it just kills you. You need to win so many of those to be profitable that sometimes I just lower the risk and pair them. And I know there's at least one or two boomers out there rolling their eyeballs, but it is the truth out there. Who would be the natural pair? With Seattle, was it? I guess it's Houston. If you have confidence in the Houston bounce back, I don't know. We need both of them to hit today, and maybe Toronto is part of that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always get a little bit stuck on the heavy favorites. It's one of the harder parts of betting baseball because there's always that favorite bias, like I mentioned. So it's baked in, and it seems to stretch, meaning like there's always a favorite bias. And then when there are real perceived disparities that get even worse, and I think you'll get that in the last game, the Snakes with shapes on their back throwing Ryan Nelson, who I think is their best pitcher. And if they have any chance of beating the Dodgers, it's going to be today. I just don't know if it's going to happen. He's facing Emmett Sheehan, who might be one of the best pitchers on a per inning basis. I was leaning under in this one. I hate to go under when the Dodgers are involved. This F5 wasn't up because they were still playing or had just finished, maybe just finished. And I was curious to see if there was going to be a F5 out there at all. I'm trying to find it right now as I speak. Sorry, I'm struggling. First 5 Dodgers. Okay, it's under 4.5. I think that's the bet that I like. Looking for Nelson to just put a cap on the Dodgers without trying to be too cute. If this was Sasaki, we'd be betting the Diamondbacks, but it's not. It's Sheehan. So I think Sheehan will do enough. But again, I just hate shorting the Dodger offense. All right, let's get out of here before we hit the freaking hour mark. That's like more than enough out of me. To the couple hundred people joining along on this fine Friday morning, appreciate you all. Oh yeah, I did forget the Yankees, but I think they're too cheap. Am I a Yankee homer? I hope not. Ray is going to be trying to pump fastballs past the Yankees. They're already hitting. I think Schlittler is a better pitcher than Ray. I don't know. I think the Yankees have a better bullpen than the Giants. I'm not crazy about the Giants bullpen either. You got to give me the Yankees money line. I think they're entirely too cheap. I'm just surprised there is no Yankee tax this year. That will do it, mi gente. Appreciate you all very, very much. Thanks for picking up what we're putting down here at Cork Stats. Oh, if you hear me, like and retweet the show because nobody seems to see this stuff anymore. Check out the Substack. Pin post has samples to all the data if you want more of a static look, or you could go back to the video, hit the pause button, and get an idea. Let me know what you think. Survivor Tournament starts on Monday. That contest is still open. It's $50, unlimited entries. The commish set it up. He's doing such great work. It's the Edgecast, and it's a beautiful website, and they have like a legit setup for it. There's quite a few people signed up. Last I tried, I know I just actually saw another one come in. Let me see. Right now we've got 18 people, and I didn't add mine yet. So we're at least $1,000. Winner take all. You pick one team a week. It goes Monday through Sunday, whatever games are played. There's nothing. That's it. Whatever happens, if they're added or removed, whatever happens that week, you must go 500 or better. So 500, wink, wink. And then, of course, Survivor, once you use a team, you can't reuse them. And last year's the contest was a lot bigger. Again, my analytics were crazy last year, and I don't reach anybody. Maybe these last few days we could pack on some more people. Right, baseball started, everything is closed, but our contest is still open. We wanted to start on a Monday, and if it's popular, maybe we could even restart it again at the half, or build it back up for next year. Hopefully, it's a thing going forward. And it should be a lot of fun. I actually really enjoy it. So hit us up with any questions. Follow me on Twitter and Insta and the YouTube channel that nobody watches. So until then, enjoy the games, enjoy the day. When we done with the book, enjoy the pay. And remember, when you work this hard, the winning feels a lot less like luck.